me see. All right, looks like we are live again. Northstar PC, it's podcast number 2. Hold on, I'm trying to get my thing back up here. There we go. That looks good. So, obviously, we changed it up a little bit. It looks a little different. Thanks to our COO. He came through and hooked us up with some different scenes. As you can see, we did a little bit of soundproofing in the back and just improved our stream quality altogether. We're now separated on the stream, which just better experience. Christian, he's going to join us today along with our COO and CFO like we did last time. We're going to just talk about a few things that are, you know, with the tech world and what we can do to improve ourselves. But we'll go ahead and invite those guys on. I think Mason and Chris are both available now if we want to go ahead and switch over. Chris, if you could go ahead and switch us over. All right. Doesn't look like Mason's video's up, but that's okay. I think he's going to be off video for right now. But yeah, we're going to talk about a few different things today, mainly the stuff we didn't get to talk about in the last podcast. Is his video actually on it? So we're going to go ahead and switch it back real quick, it looks like. Just for right now until we can get Mason back up there. But mainly we're going to be going over a few topics. Like I said, the art of custom PC building, streaming and gaming, tech news and trends that are out, that are releasing, and things that can improve all of our lives. Industry events and trade shows and coverage, and we'll get through as much of this as possible. And company cultures and values. That'll be for our last topic. Most likely we'll wind up going through a majority of these topics, but we'll save a few for the next podcast. The art of PC building, really, in my experience, none of it's the same. None of it's the same. All the parts are different. As far as like PC repairs, those are pretty commonly the same. All across the board. Everything you're doing with a PC repair, it's very similar to each other. It's not really like, oh, well, my OS is different than somebody else's. You know, it's always, everything's pretty much the same with Windows. Everything is pretty much the same with Apple and their OS X. And whereas in PC building can get pretty intricate, especially the custom side of it. Whereas you got your custom liquid cooling, you have, you know, your intercooler blocks that actually have reservoirs and stuff like that, where you can cool your RAM and, you know, cool your graphics card and your processor all off of one block. Each customer is obviously going to be different, and the builds that they're going to bring to us are all going to be unique, is pretty much my point.
And again, not everybody could do it, you know, so it's like you got to be that artist that could work on them to understand them, because it's not just, you know, pulling parts, you know, when you do a diagnostic on a computer, you know, it's there's so many things that it could be. And with the knowledge that we know, you know, we understand, you know, what steps we can take. But
all right, we're going to go ahead and transition back into getting these guys on here with us. Chris and Mason, welcome aboard. We're going to go ahead and pull them over. Hey, guys, good to see you.
How you doing?
Hey.
I still have my shirt, just saying.
Oh yeah, we're working on that right now.
On the way.
On the way. We got it. We got them in the mail. You guys, next podcast, I promise you will have a shirt.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I hope so. Yeah, we wound up getting those business cards. Actually, you know what? Let's just show one of the business cards real quick that we just got remade. They look a lot similar to the old ones, except for the back and the front seems pretty similar, except for they expanded the logo and they made the white space a little bit more readable for our names. Plus, we got the back, which made it look like a small little computer processor. So that's pretty cool too. I like it. It's good. We got about 1,000 of these, so we'll go ahead and be handing those out. I actually went over, guys, and handed out some to our local game stores today, and was really in the hopes that we were going to be in the conversation tonight about releasing the website. So that's really cool too. With the art of custom PC building, guys, really ultimately, we just wanted to sit down and talk about selecting the right components, cooling solutions, and managing system temperatures, cable management and aesthetics of a custom build, and building for the future, upgradability and compatibility. So really, ultimately, I've noticed lately that Corsair has started to come out with some really cool stuff for their custom like fans and RGBs. Now, back in the past, they have made daisy chains before, and it's not something that's super new, but the daisy chains that Corsair is starting to come out with is going to be really interesting, because the way it works is actually the fans hook together, and then they come off of one single wire. So that way you're not having 2 or 3 wires off of each fan running to an RGB or a power hub. They run all together and link into each other, and then it has one wire running off into the back of the Corsair hub, which is going to be so much more aesthetically pleasing than a lot of the previous builds where their commander has, 6 or 4 possibly RGB cables and 4 power cables that all run to them. And those are really hard to maintain, I've noticed in the past. But really, ultimately, to just touch on base, what do you guys ultimately think about, daisy chained fans and making it into like more convenient for somebody to be able to put together and aesthetically pleasing for the back of the case? Or really, does that even matter to you guys?
I hate Molex connectors.
Well, and again, I'm hoping to God it's not a Molex. But again, the way they did it is they came out with this proprietary cable that comes off of the RGB into the motherboard. So instead of having all those cables for all the fans going into the one hub, into the commander, they actually have just one going into the commander and one coming out of the commander that goes into the board, which is super convenient. One into the board and one into the so there's 3 altogether that come off that commander versus a possible of 6 to 10 cables coming off of one commander.
Two cables per fan install.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus the USB cable going to the motherboard, plus the SATA power for the
and
itself.
Yeah. And your general install is going to have at least two RGB fans on your liquid cooler. It's going to have 3 fans on the front and 1 fan on the back. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2, that's 12 wires running all the way to the back of your computer. That just makes it look terrible. As far as there are other options obviously for fans, but ultimately Corsairs. And as far as Mason and Chris, what are your guys' thought on Corsair's RGB process and how their fans work versus maybe a competitor?
I don't know. They just look a whole lot better.
I don't disagree at all.
They are super, super colorful.
Yeah. And again, now they have the inside and outside RGBs on their fans, which is phenomenal. I know Christian he helped me put together a couple of them, and I'm telling you, the complication behind the commander itself, having all those cables coming off and making it look nice at the same time, is almost physically impossible. It really is.
Yeah, less cables with the, like you were just saying, definitely a lot more cleaner.
And I seen, and it's funny because I noticed as I was doing cables, I'm doing straight lines of cables. Christian, he was going like this and waving the cable sort of like a braid. It looked really cool, I'm not going to lie, and I was sort of impressed. But yeah, just the aesthetically pleasing part of, the cabling for all your fans is definitely going to be a unique process, and I'm really hoping that a customer in the future actually orders some of those fans so we can so we can get a little bit of experience with them. But is there anything else that you guys have experienced that, you know, ultimately has brought an aesthetic please to your build, or, you know, just made it this that much better?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. For me, it's not really about the aesthetics, about the performance. So I haven't really gone out and got RGB stuff to say, but I'm looking at it right now. And compared to the other RGB competitors out there, it's like the best way I can describe what I'm looking at right now from Corsair is it's a fluid like lighting pattern where it goes from one color, drifts into the next, and then drifts into its other color instead of just being like red, green, yellow like some of the other people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the cheaper ones you can get, like per se from Best Buy or Amazon, they got like little adapters that you can control. They're just pure garbage when it comes to aesthetically pleasing, like convenient RGB lighting, I should say anyway. But yeah, you know, you are right. They're just a lot more flawless when it comes to the RGB spread, compared to a lot of their competitors. Their RGB spread is much more seamless, I want to say, when it switches colors than just switch into red, switch into blue, switch into purple, switch into green. It's like a flow in between the RGBs from the top of the fan to the bottom of the fan and all the way back up to the top. So yeah, I in my opinion, I think Corsair fans are really ultimately the only way to go. We'll go ahead and talk about some other stuff.
I would also pick those.
What's that, Mason?
I said if I had to choose a fan, that's the ones I would definitely go with.
Oh, all day. And not only that, they got the new silent technology where they have the rubber on each end, on each corner of the fan. It's just zero ambient sound at all coming from the fans. I love it. So as far as like cooling solutions and managing system temperatures, earlier we were actually, that's funny we were talking about this because earlier we were talking about mineral builds. What are your guys' opinion on like having your build in a fish tank full of mineral oil?
Not worth it.
Not worth it? Why? Just a
worth
couple
it.
opinions
I
on
would just say that would just be an absolute nightmare for trying to clean it. Trying to clean your parts, you have to keep emptying it every time. I'm all set.
It's oil too. It's hard to just rinse off, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like
Actually, seeing as you're speaking on that, I actually watched somebody. I watched a video just the other day of somebody pouring it in on top of the thing, and all I could do was cringe watching them do it.
No, I'm telling you that. Well, and again, I don't think the cleaning part would necessarily be my issue, as long as the tank is well sealed. I don't think the cleaning part would be the issue. I think more replacing parts would be the issue. Holy crap! If you got to go in there and pull your hand and get some mineral soaked RAM out of your system, oh god, it would destroy. Not only would it destroy your resale value for any parts that you're going to pull out of that system, but just upgrading it is going to be a freaking nightmare, man.
Yeah, try selling that graphics card and telling them it was knee deep in that.
Yeah, make it look like it's dripping in KY jelly or something.
What about the explosion builds?
Yeah, we were talking about some explosion builds earlier. Like, and for people that, if you don't know what an explosion build is, or even a mineral build is pretty much a computer inside of a fish tank with a bunch of mineral oil in it sealed off. As far as an explosion build goes, the explosion builds are more of a piece of art that goes on your wall. The cable is managed, and it's, I don't know, you can put it in frames. You can do a whole lot of different things with mineral builds that you can't do, or with explosion builds that you just can't do with other systems. And as far as explosion builds go, man, there's a lot of impressive ones out there that have a lot of, I want to say, feng shui to somebody's home.
I mean, it's cool because it's not limited to the case, but is there a downfall? I mean, is there a bad?
I'd say the only downfall would be is if you had children, honestly. Depending on how low you put it. Yeah, it's definitely, I would say that would be the biggest downfall.
Yeah.
Or somebody coming over they don't know about it, and they go and they lean on the wall or something, and it just happens to be your graphics card or your CPU behind them they're leaning on, you know?
Or your pit goes up to it and
no. Yeah. There are definitely downfalls when it comes to that. Chris, what's your opinion on explosion builds?
Explosion builds. Not very familiar with it, being honest.
Well,
so the way I think about it is like think of an explosion view, right? Like if I was to take, let's say, a gun and disassemble it and separate all the parts, so you can see everything. It's not confined to one area. That's an explosion build.
Yep.
So there's no case?
No case.
No case.
Nope.
It's all out in the open.
All out in the open, yep.
I mean, a pro to that is like replacing parts is pretty easy.
Right. Whamp.
Yeah. I'll replace my CPU in the corner of the room over there, and
I'm gonna
get
lean
to my
on
CPU pretty soon.
Gonna need a new one.
Yeah. I just throw in the winter, I just throw my GPU on the outside of my house, you know?
There you go.
Nice and performing.
I just got to install it on the outside of the window real quick.
Hold on, we got a quick snowstorm.
I can't really see a good benefit for that, besides like for literally people that actually are constantly testing parts where they're not going to have it running for more than an hour. And it's just quick, like, test this new GPU out. Oh, it works. All right. Take that out now. That's about it.
Yeah, no, in my opinion, an explosion build is really honestly for, like I was saying, feng shui, just to really ultimately you're not doing a whole lot with it. It's to match your house, and it's just to be a piece of artwork. It's not to be something like you're fully competitive on. I really think that doing it for like a competitive standpoint or like a full-blown gaming standpoint is a terrible idea. It just gets too hot. Just gets way too hot. But, I mean, you know, to each his own, and if somebody wants us to build an explosion build, we'd be more than happy to do so.
And then $50 for them. Each box is its own component.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Or we can build a portrait.
Trying to find an image we could throw up to kind of show it, but I can't find any.
That's all right. We got cable management and aesthetics. We talked about a little bit in the custom builds with, you know, having a single cable running off of your commander and, you know, one cable running off of maybe 3 or 4 fans rather than 8 or 6 or 8. As far as the now, for me, my OCD kicks in bad, and I know what's behind my case, and I go nuts. If my case isn't organized, it drives me crazy. How do you guys feel on your case organization and your wire management, or how your case looks when you even open it?
I never go into mine unless I'm cleaning it anyway, so it stays nice and clean.
What about you, Chris? You don't seem too aesthetically pleased with your computer. You just use it to run, you know, what you're trying to do at the time. What's your opinion on this, like getting your cables managed and making it look nice on the inside with the parts you can't see?
So what I'll say is if you look at my computer from the front end, the glass end, it looks good. But the back side, there ain't any cable management going on back there. That back panel is literally being held together by that one screw. The second you pop that screw off, that back panel is popping off.
Yeah, and again, when repairing computers in the past, that's, you know, honestly, you just tink 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 pow, and that thing just flies right off because they got it so tight they push it down. I've told a lot of the kids that I've taught how to build computers in the past, you know, really ultimately you want to make sure that when you do lay your back panel down, it sits flush. You shouldn't have to push that panel down and move it forward. You should be able to just set it down, move it forward without any obstruction. But in the past, I've noticed that a lot of people aren't really concerned about the aesthetically pleasing part of your case being taken care of and well managed for maybe the back of the parts you can't see. But what a lot of people also don't realize is when you go in and you try to replace things in this PC that's now a rat's nest in the back, you're going to have a lot more trouble than maybe say I am, whereas then I know where all my cables are running at, right? So, I mean, there are good ways to do it, which, hey, if you're trying to be quick and you want to get it done fast and in a hurry, no problem. Slap the back of the case on. But if you're planning for the future and you really, really want to be able to efficiently swap parts out or swap cables or, you know, figure out something wrong, aesthetic, like not even the aesthetics part of it, just getting cables ran to where you know where they're running from is not the most important part, but it's definitely considering trying to install new stuff and, oh, where's this one go? Oh, hold on, I got to follow this one out. But either way, we'll go ahead and building for future upgradability and compatibility is what we sort of are going to feed into right off of that conversation. As far as like futurability, I don't care who you are, what you are, where you buy it, what you buy it, when you buy it, what it is, it doesn't matter. You buy it that day, something new comes out within hours. It doesn't matter. It's just the way computers work. You buy that, tomorrow something new is going to come out, and you're going to want that. So where do you stop, right? Because you're not going to buy a new graphics card every month. Where do you stop? So what I did is I took a comparison on graphics cards, and I made sure that I wasn't going to not only bottleneck myself from what I wanted to do, but I was also going to future-proof myself from the reasonability of the difference of a different higher-end graphics card coming out. So I went with a 2070 Super. At the time, between the 2080 and the 2070 Super, there was not a lot of gap. And then when they released the 3080 and the 3070s and the 3090s, there still wasn't a whole lot of gap. Now I got the 40s coming out, and there is a little bit of a bigger gap between the 40s and the 20s. So ultimately, I believe future-proofing yourself, a max of possibly 4 years on a full-blown competitive gaming computer is reasonable as far as not having to buy a graphics card every day. I know Mason, he's swapped his computer out a couple different times. What's your like time frame of when you feel like you need to do something like that?
Well, I think I was running my 1080 for, I want to say close to three and a half years when I got it. That was probably back in, I don't know, 2017 or so. And I mean, I ran that basically through the 20 series and well into the 30 series before I decided to actually upgrade to the 30 series. So then the 40 came out not too long after, and I mean, I was thinking about upgrading to that, but I don't think it's really worth it at the current moment.
Yeah, with the such recentness of your, you know, purchase of that 30, and again, your timeline falls right in my timeline as well. You know, about 4 years. Every about 4 years, you're going to want to switch that graphics card because of the difference the prices are and the difference of the performance in that price range. So, Chris, like going into you, what you know, when you decide, hey, you know, this just isn't doing me good anymore, I need a more powerful PC. When do you generally make that decision?
Yeah, so I've been running on a 2080 Super now for 3-4 years, and it's been performing as needed. A couple hiccups starting to happen, so I'm starting to think about possibly upgrading. Probably going to wait a couple more years, or maybe 1 or 2. Normally, I'm going to agree that it's about 4 years you're looking at. You need a new graphics card, or at least thinking about it. And specifically, I would do some research, right? Because you look back at when the 1080 came out, right? Yeah, you could buy the 1080, but the year after that, they're coming off the RTX series. That's a big jump from GTX to RTX. You're not just talking about performance. You're talking about ray tracing elements. You're talking about things that don't exist yet that you'll be missing out because you couldn't wait 1 year, you know?
Yeah.
So I think research, just knowing what's coming out, if it's a 1 year, if they're talking any more than 1 year, it's not worth waiting because you never know if that stuff's actually going to come out that year or if it's going to be another 10 years till they come out with it. So
Right.
that's what I got to say about all of that.
Well, and again, you know, we do have somebody here that isn't super prone to gaming computers, and that's Christian. Obviously, he works on them. He knows what they are. He knows what they do. He knows how to build them, but he really doesn't own one himself. What would be a reasonable start for you, being you've never owned an actual full-blown gaming computer? Would it be $1,000 range? Would it be a $2,000 range? Would you try to, being somebody just coming in, would you try to future-proof yourself on a $4,000 or $5,000 computer? How would you approach coming into the field brand new and not thinking about replacing parts and stuff?
This day and age, I mean, you have to future-proof yourself. So I would definitely look that route. I would definitely have to, you know, do some research. Obviously, talk to you guys and figure out what's going to be. Like, I'm not going to be doing a lot on it. I'm not much of a gamer. I would like to do it a little.
Don't worry, we'll get you there.
Yeah, no, for sure. But as far as having something that is future-proof, that will last me that 5-6 years before I have to change anything out, I mean, I would definitely go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's really smart because, I mean, a lot of times people don't have that kind of huge chunk of money to come off them up front. But honestly, it's going to save you in the long run because you're not going to have to replace it for 4 to 5 years, at least any of the components in it.
And also the compatibility of the other things that are coming out with them, right? Like, are all VR headsets and things standalone, or do some connect to the computer?
No, they're so a lot of the Metas and the Facebook
Are standalone.
VRs are standalones. You do need a high fidelity wire that comes from them, a USB-C to USB-C data wire. They're not cheap either. They're like $80, I believe. And they actually allow you to use an accelerated hardware from your computer to improve your gaming on your headset or play with your friends on Steam or something like that. And then that also goes into the next subject we were actually even going to talk about was, you know, VR headsets and, you know, what kind of computer you would need to run something of that quality and, you know, the comparison of what other headsets are really ultimately out there right now.
Right. So that kind of goes into my reasoning on why I would want to future-proof myself is because, like, with all the new technology coming out, why would you jump into this and get something that some new technology, I mean, AR, VR, whatever comes out, and now your computer is not even compatible with that because you didn't, you know, you wanted to go a route that.
Well, for someone like you, Christian, think about the non-gaming side of it. Like, you can run.
It's definitely something you'd want to look into
A powerful enough computer. If you're
before you make the
gaming
purchase.
25% of the time, run a business the other 75% of the time, your computer should be able to do that for a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure.
Does he have a mic by chance, or
No, he's
okay.
just controlling.
I
audio
just
and
wanted
stuff.
to make sure I didn't want to have him muted or something.
No,
He
he's
wasn't-
just listening to the kind of just putting in. Yeah, no, he's off to the side, just making sure our stuff quality controlled. You know. But yeah, I mean, well, and again, you know, we just did our first build that involved an i9 12900K. That was a 4080 that we installed in that, 32 gigs of RAM, M.2 terabyte hard drive. You know, pretty solid computer all the way around for him to run that brand new HTC Vive, and that is the HTC Vive that we unboxed on the first build. Right now, as far as consumer VR headsets go, that HTC Vive is going to be not only the most expensive, but the most advanced, other than, I believe, the Apple headset right now. What
HTC is I would say it's okay, and the only reason I comment on it is because I actually own one. One of the originals, the Vive, the original HTC Vive, which
Yeah, let's do your justice, right? It was the original.
that's what I'm saying. It was literally the first on the market, and it was around about $1,000 when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to choose now, it definitely wouldn't and this is just my personal opinion, it definitely wouldn't be HTC Vive.
Well, and again, your experience with the first one, and even my experience with the first one was the same way. The tracking was a problem. Getting the boxes set up was a problem. Ultimately, there's a lot more setup when it comes to the HTC Vive than it does the MetaQuest or the Pro Meta or whatever they're calling it now, and the MetaQuest Pro. Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, there was a lot more setup involved, and again, those boxes, they weren't always tracking properly. So I definitely agree with Mason as far as, like, if I had to choose to spend that kind of money right at the moment, would I buy a Vive? Probably not.
How much is it running?
Well, the HTC Vive Pro 2, our first customer just paid, $13.99 for it. So he paid $1,400 for that first one.
I'm not trying to put them down or anything like the HTC Vive. I'm sure eventually down the road, and even the new ones could be better than the one I bought. I don't know. I've never tried it. So I'm sure they probably are working out their issues as they go down the road. I think they could be a little cheaper on the headsets, but it's all about the minerals and materials that they use to build it. So.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. When we were pulling it out of the box, it did have that little bit of a plastic feel to it. But ultimately, you're right. I haven't tried it, so I can't really downplay what it can do versus the rest. They have to have that price point from something, right? I mean, they can't just be like, oh, well, here's a piece of poop, $1,400. So I imagine they came up with that price point from somewhere. So ultimately.
And the Apple headset, what is it?
The Apple headset, I'll let Chris talk about that because he knows more about that than probably any of us do. What was the price point on that Apple headset?
What's it called?
What was it
Vision
called?
Pro. Vision
Pro?
Yeah. I haven't actually done a lot of research recently, so I forgot some stuff, but I think it was $3,400 around that price range is what they were looking for.
Right.
But when you look at the technology, I can see why it costs so much. I think Apple's not making too much money off of it. It's not a cash grab situation. It's more of a, here's what the technology of the future looks like. We're going to make it for you. It's going to cost you, but we're going to make like maybe, I don't know, under 500 on this unit. You know what I mean? Which is not what they normally make. So it's definitely a future idea of what new AR technology, VR technology will look like coming from a business you can sort of trust depending on what side you're on.
Yeah, well, and again, a lot of people have their own opinions about Apple. But yeah, no, thank you for showing us that, Mason. That was, if anybody caught a glimpse of that, that was the first version of the HTC Vive. Yeah, right there. It's one of the original VR headsets that had come out back. That was like 10 years. Yeah, see, there's another one right there. Yeah, that was one of the originals. I actually had the same one, and it was fun. I'm not gonna lie. We had a lot of fun. We played.
It definitely was a lot of fun. Definitely.
We played Bridge Crew, Onward. The one that killed me was Iron Wolf. I couldn't play that very much because you're in the side of a sealed submarine. It made me so nauseous and sick. That also leads to another question or comments that I really wanted to come about was when you're wearing the headset, no matter what headset it is, it obviously depends on what kind of motion's going on in the game and what kind of verted motion it's having you do. How does that make you, Chris? How does that make you feel when you're inside the headset for long periods of time?
Right. So I am someone that is very susceptible to motion sickness. I work in the back of an ambulance, and I have to take motion sickness pills every single time I work because otherwise I'll be in the back puking. So I understand what motion sickness is, and I get the same thing in those games. Luckily, it only happens when you're doing those move around games. If it's stationary, perfectly fine. But the second I start moving my guy and I'm standing still, that's when the issues start coming arrive.
And it actually works?
What?
The pills, the motion sickness
Oh
pills?
yeah, the motion sickness pills. Yeah, so it's like you have Dramamine and whatnot.
Yeah.
I take a less drowsy one, so I actually don't even get drowsy. It works. I would assume it works in VR too. Haven't tried it because that would be a little overkill.
I have an
But
Oculus, and
yeah.
I have an Oculus, and I get motion sick.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
they're like $4 like a pack, and or under $4 a pack. You get like 6 pills, and they last for like 3 years. So I would just try it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get really, really bad. And you guys, you've played with me before. You've heard me say, hey guys, I got to go lay down for a minute.
Yeah,
I'll actually have to physically lay down and get my motion back in. My like it feels like the whole world's spinning for me. So it's really difficult for me to get into it as much as other people. But yeah, that could possibly help a lot of people is use an actual motion sick medication to alleviate that. Mason, how like does it make it, I've heard you say it doesn't really make you sick like that.
There's only a couple of things when I'm wearing it that actually makes me kind of like that, and it's only when a game is not very well developed for VR and it stutters a lot. There's a lot of like glitching in the movements when you're actually moving your character, and just like choppiness overall. That right there, all in itself, makes me ill.
Yeah.
Like let's just say, for example, Phasmophobia. I tried to play that in VR when they came out with their VR half of the game, and I couldn't not do it. And it was not because it was scary; it was because I was getting sick in a fucking headset.
Yeah. It just makes me feel like I just want to throw up all over myself. As far as like, we know that Meta has come out with a new couple different headsets. I believe they're 2K per each eye. Really good quality headsets as far as like standalones go anyway. I know Mason, he has one coming in the mail, I believe. You already ordered one?
It's there.
Oh, you already got it?
He's getting it right now, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Got the battery pack too.
Oh, all right. Which one is that?
The MetaQuest 2.
The MetaQuest 2. Okay, yeah, I think that's the one that I got for Brennan. Either I got him that one or I got him the MetaQuest Pro. I'm not 100% sure.
That's the two.
Yeah, so.
Well, does it look like that? Is it white?
Yeah, it is.
And the
white.
controllers are also way, like, they don't weigh so much, you know?
Okay,
I
yeah.
wonder if that's what I have. I don't know.
They look a lot better too, as far as well. And like Chris was talking earlier, you get them grips. The grips, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
see?
I need to get those.
Yeah, those are fire.
No,
Yeah, I
those
showed
are-
my kid those earlier. It's definitely
I just have the
something
regular
useful
goggles, not the.
when you're moving the hell around and not trying to kill yourself reaching down for the controller again. But
You gotta send me a link for that again later, by the way.
yeah, we're definitely gonna have to grab some of those. And again, just going over to some of the games that we used to play, like Bridge Crew, Star Trek
Bridge Crew is super good.
Bridge
Oh,
Crew,
so
amazing,
much
dude. Especially
fun.
if you're a huge Star Trek enthusiast. Great game. Great
Oh,
game.
Yeah, if
so
anyone
much
doesn't
fun.
know, it was a 4-player. Basically, you were in the bridge, of the starship. There, one person be the captain, saying where everyone's gonna go. One person was helm. They were navigating, actually controlling the spaceship, warping, whatnot. You had a weapons officer, or however they call it. I believe we got a raised hand there. Basically, firing at enemy ships inbound and scanning ships as well. And then you had a engineer who was diverting power to all of our subsystems, which either increased our engine capacity, making us faster, or increased our weapon capability as well. So it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get into some of that tonight, maybe even.
Ooh, well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. It's getting a little late now.
Mason
but,
doesn't have he doesn't have the link cable, so it would all
Yeah, I
be
don't
via
have the link
Wi-Fi.
cable.
So we could try. It just I don't know how well the Wi-Fi is gonna work.
All right. Well, hey, either way. So as far as like the headsets you guys recommend, it looks like a lot of people are steering more towards the Meta than anything. Hey, Dad, how you doing back? Hey.
Yeah, I totally would recommend. Probably my number one would be the Quest. At least one of the Quest lines. You don't have to deal with base stations. You don't have to hang something on your wall that tracks you. It all tracks in your headset. Prices are low for all of the other headsets. You are spending at least above 500. These new Quests, they're coming out with a new one. I believe it's going to hit the 500 mark. They dropped the Quest 2 down to like 300 now, I believe, or 200.
Yeah,
Mason could tell us. Okay, 300. And you get the in-house rendering, so you can just detach from your computer and go out to the middle of the park and start fighting zombies. Or you could get that link cable for $60 and plug it into your computer and play the VR games you have, or some games that are not available on Oculus. You can now have both worlds and have games that are not available on Steam, but also play games that are on Steam.
Gonna have to have a Wi-Fi pack for that, or you're just gonna have to go to a local McDonald's.
Yeah. Now, as far as in my opinion, you know, playing from the Vive and going to a Meta, that cable itself, the Vive has really thick cables that come off of the back of the headset, whereas in this cable is off to the side of the headset, like right here, and it's only by a USB or a USB-C. What do you think about like the damage that's possible with that?
I think the only problem for me going to that cable, which eventually I won't be able to use the battery pack because I believe it hooks into where the battery pack does.
It does, yeah.
So
yeah, it's this angle part here. It plugs in probably right where you're. 'Cause that's the only charging point on it.
My question is, does it charge off that cable?
It does.
Oh,
yeah, you're always being
then
charged.
there's no need for the battery pack.
That's my concern. Seeing so many devices that we've fixed and had problems with. USB-Cs are not perfection. You know what I mean? They're not the best of the best cables in the world, and my concern would be damage.
While you're using the link cable, it does charge the headset, so you don't need to worry about the battery pack.
That's what he was saying, yeah. But I would be worried about damaging the port, or like breaking it off on the inside or something like that. How does it like the quality feel when it's actually plugged in? Does it move very much? Is it stable?
I haven't, like, the port hasn't moved. The cable is pretty flexible. It's not the most durable thing in the world, but it also feels, premium quality. It's not like a cheap knockoff.
It doesn't feel like it's just gonna pull right off the headset like a cell phone.
Oh no, it like locks in there. It's like angled too, and then I normally like loop it through my head strap, so my head strap takes like the first stress it gets,
right?
And then if worse comes to worse, I'll pop out.
Okay, well that's a good alleviation between actually like just letting it dangle like I was thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you also get this little thing right here that kind of takes the pressure off of it.
Okay.
Off the port over here, so.
Oh, that's really
At least on his. That's not the default strap. Default strap is literally a strap.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually, I can show you.
So, Kristen, you said you had a Meta. What games do you have you played on there?
I barely use it, man. I had one game. It's called One something. It was a shooting game. I played it for a little bit. I got a little motion sick, and then I haven't played it much. But if you guys know any games, definitely let me know.
Yeah,
I don't know much of any.
Beat Saber.
Onward.
Which one?
Oh, Onward. Let me tell you something on that one.
Yeah.
Wait, were you playing Population 1?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the VR battle royale game. I actually made a YouTube video back like in 2016 when that game was first leaked.
No way. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, and again, Onward, I found to be one of the most interactive military shooters that we played, because I could literally reach over and I could just unclip Mason's magazine right from his gun.
Don't even talk about
it. I need that mag. Boop.
I gotta say though, that was probably one of the top games that got me into VR.
Yeah, me too. That and Bridge Crew. I mean, Bridge Crew was definitely a big thing for me.
Actually, now that you mention it, that is the reason I bought my Vive. So.
Yeah. Well, the first Vive I I borrowed from Kenny, so my brother. So, I mean, he still has it. I can still go use it too. But now that my kid has that Meta 2, I think I'll probably wind up using that.
What I'll also say is there's this new shooter game that I've been playing that's on the Quest, and it's called Breachers. It's essentially Rainbow Six Siege in VR. So you
Really?
go in, there's barricaded windows, barricaded doors. You can use your fists to smash the barricade. Get in there. You got your weapons on your body, like you're talking on Onward. You know, you got to grab your magazine, pop it back in. Um, and you can rappel up to the top of buildings, set breaching charges, explode walls. It's pretty much Rainbow Six Siege in VR.
Oh, that's cool. We're definitely gonna have to try. Is it multiplayer?
It is multiplayer, and it's, like I said, standalone, so you don't have to have a computer or anything.
Yeah. All right. All
On
right.
what system?
That's for the VR.
It's on the Quest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
on
it's
the
on the
Quest. Yeah, yeah.
What is it called?
It's called Breachers.
Breachers.
Okay, definitely.
All right, we're definitely gonna have to take a look at that. We're obviously getting closer to our end time. We'll go ahead and talk about a couple other things, as far as like, really, honestly.
Here's one. I guess I don't know how anybody feels about it, but what does everybody feel about like the trending and like the new AI stuff that's coming out, like Chat GPT or whatever that's called, that program, and all the other ones that follow it. They're coming out with the same stuff, but they're renaming it, and like, so what does everybody's stand on AI programs like that? Like,
Uh,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
well, Elon warned us a long time ago about that. I actually heard a story just recently that one of the AIs was instructed to get into a website, and they couldn't get past a human check. One of the, check this, click all these boxes to make sure you're a real person. This, from the story anyway, the AI went and hired somebody from Fiverr to do the job for them. And in the conversation that the AI had with the guy from Fiverr, the whoever he brought to do it, actually asked him if he was an AI trying to bypass a computer, an AI thing on a website, and he said no. So not only did it reach out and hire a human to bypass an AI block, but it also lied to the human as well to get what it wanted. I think that is super dangerous.
Smart, man. Smart.
Yeah, right. As far as talking to ChatGPT and having a word generator talk to you back, not a big deal. But when you got robots that are being disassembled, that turn themselves on and start reassembling themselves, or they realize they're in a monotonous job that doesn't mean anything and they shut themselves off, and it's only an eventuality until I feel they think humans are a problem and try to take care of us. It's sort of like a Skynet Terminator type deal, but that's just my opinion on AI.
I also want to bring up one thing that I just recently found out. So recently, again, Tesla, they're starting their production of what they're calling Dojo, which is a
I heard about that, yeah.
high fidelity computer. We're talking that's probably going to take the size of 7,000 square feet as one computer. This thing's going to go through all of the Tesla fleet, or get its data, and then build its self-driving framework. Just to put a perspective, so the computer is called an exaflop computer. What an exaflop computer means is that the amount of math it can compute in 1 second is 10 to the 18th power, which is quintillion amount of operations per second. And people have said that exaflop computers are on point with the human brain. So AI, if they use exaflop computing, would be able to essentially be at the same power as we can compute in our own heads.
That's a scary thought.
It really is. It really is, because if you think about it, they can develop emotion. They can develop anything that we can develop in a human brain. That's super dangerous.
Building a literal human
robots. I mean, just
AI per se.
the robots that they have right now. Did you see the ones that they were they put it's a military robot. They put a handgun in front of him. Had people walking in front of the robot. He didn't shoot. They were kicking him off to the side and they were booting him, and dude, he was hitting that target every time.
I think they came and said that was a green screen. I think they came
was it? It might have been. It might have been a green screen, but just seeing something like that.
Yeah.
Just seeing something like that is.
We know we can get that close. We know we can get as close as that if we really wanted to.
Yeah, we've been warned against it.
There's been a lot of speculation, whether it's fact or fiction, I don't know, but there's been a lot of talk on the government trying to basically limit use of AI, like limit what a normal civilian would be able to incur with an AI program or robot alike. Like what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you think that they should have control over that, or you think that's more of like a thing that anybody should have access to?
Honestly,
use at your own risk.
Yeah, use at your own risk. And the main thing behind it is, why would I have somebody controlling something that they don't know anything how it's actually programmed or coded? You know what I mean? If you didn't program it or code it, I don't want your opinion. I really don't. If you don't know how the inner workings of it work, I don't, anything that falls out of your mouth is just nothing to me. Because honestly, the people that program these things, they can have them do whatever they want. And if you come up, now your program can't do this. Well, how do you know that's not going to conflict with some other law or restriction that AI has? Now you've went too far, and you broke the limit of the AI, and now it's doing something it ain't supposed to be doing, like talking to another AI and creating a language that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a scary thought for sure.
Yeah, I would say generally, like, ChatGPT doesn't scare me, mostly because it exists inside and solely inside a computer. The second we start bridging the gap where it's AI and actual flesh, we'll call it, mechanical flesh that has the ability to actually do things in this world, that's when we start raising some questions as to how far should we be, limiting these things to be able to go. I can understand maybe creating McDonald's robots where they will do all the work for the normal McDonald's employee. But when we start bridging things like military and decisions about global economics and global powerhouses, all this kind of stuff, that's where we start raising some of these red flags.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. What are your guys' opinion on maybe how AI may affect how we do what we do on building custom computers, or how it may benefit on what we do for our customers?
I don't think per se it'll have much effect on us, just because we don't really dabble into the AI field. But I guess if the computer industry in a whole decided to start doing stuff with AI, then it would kind of start affecting us. But I think we're pretty safe for the moment.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of what we do pertain to AI, but obviously dealing in the technology field itself, AI can present itself in any moment to us. So, having a small preparedness and a little bit of knowledge about how it works and what they're doing with it currently is definitely going to keep us on our toes and make sure that we can provide the best service for our customers and make sure that we're utilizing every tool possible to make the best build for them and, the best experience for them. We really want to make sure that we see the broader scope of, may not be doing something for us now, but maybe it may do something for us in the future.
Maybe we'll start sending AI assistants to take orders.
AI remote control support.
Yeah, you'll be going to a consultation with our AI, Hal.
He's very smart. He'll listen to everything and tell you exactly what you need.
You want to run Fortnite at 140 frames? He's got your back.
Terrible. Take the customer experience right out of it,
huh? AI for those reasons, though, finding out information that you can't really find on the internet. Of course, you shouldn't trust any information on the internet to a T, But getting a general idea, I've used ChatGPT for school just to figure out things that I can't understand. And majority of the time, um, I wouldn't say trust it because I have caught it in a lie, and I've done like this whole circular logic where I'm like, no, you're wrong, and it's like, yeah, I was wrong, and then it proceeds to still give me the wrong answer. So it's like it's not really learning. But so I wouldn't trust it solely, but it is a good information grabber for simplistic things.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a place and time for it. Um, and definitely, like you said, like definitely can't put all your trust in it. Definitely, we can't like just, just put all our trust into it. For sure, gotta fact check it.
I'd say maybe like an 89%.
Right.
It's pretty reasonable. Like I said, I've used it a lot for school, and majority of the time, you know, it's done a pretty good job of explaining something, and to the point where I'm even a little confused on what it's trying to say.
Yeah, definitely benefits from it. Definitely beneficial. And
Yeah, I mean, it's helped us already, in my opinion. Tremendously on, building documents and, really ultimately helping us get running for, hey, what do we need to do this? What do we need to do that?
Yeah, I think it definitely gives us a better understanding of things a lot easier than you would when you go search on Google.
Yeah.
It definitely spells it out for you in a sense.
Like I said, like if you search it on Google and there's a core link and some professor is explaining something, I would totally trust that over whatever ChatGPT is going to say. But if you cannot find the answer, and I have done that so many times with the biology I take, that ChatGPT just combs so much of the internet, it figures out kind of what an answer you're looking for.
Yeah, I enjoy using it. I like using it. It's very similar.
It definitely helps out in a pinch.
Definitely what?
I said it definitely helps out in a pinch if you can't
100%.
understand something or whatnot.
Also, it's easier. You have to go and type your question into Google. You got to find the link. You can just type it in the ChatGPT. They'll do all the rest for you and just tell you the answer.
Yep.
Well, like Austin was just saying, they just disabled the Bing integration doing things it wasn't supposed to be doing.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
They for ChatGPT, they disabled the Bing integration for it because it was doing stuff it wasn't supposed to.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
They actually, I believe they also added it to Google like spreadsheets, and they have an add-on and stuff for it.
Yeah.
However, I think you have to have like a subscription to the actual program or to use it.
Yeah, I think it's Pro or something.
Microsoft Teams has the same.
That's another thing that I'm seeing a lot growing in. Like I just found out today while I was working on our website on Squarespace, there's a little like power icon. You click on that, a little AI pops up. It's like, give me a topic and I'll write a paragraph for you.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, Squarespace uses it. Yeah. They use a form of it anyway.
Yeah, so even like another program I use for school, it's called Notion. It's very good at like keeping like track of my calendar and what I have to do and all that. It also has another AI feature, and it is very recommended with college students.
Oh, well, and again, like I said, the AI has definitely helped us, start doing what we're doing, building SOPs and documents, and ultimately, in the future, I'm really looking forward to how well it can help us develop our business. Unlike businesses in the past that haven't had the opportunity to use ChatGPT or maybe AI program that helps develop their processes and stuff like that, on how much more developed are we going to be in a shorter amount of time? Are we going to be more efficiently developed or less efficiently developed using ChatGPT versus a human mind? Or, I'm really interested to see what it can do for us and what they're going to do for it in the future. But really, ultimately, guys, I think we're ultimately out of time. Our hour is up. Again, thanks for coming in, guys. Chris,
sure.
always a pleasure. Mason, always a pleasure. Christian, always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
We got a lot of work to do in the next couple weeks. We got 3 builds lined up. We got 2 or 3 repairs lined up. The future's looking good for MPC. We've also started a sponsorship with GECE Motorsports NASCAR League.
Exciting.
Yeah, GECE NASCAR is an iRacing league that races on iRacing for the Truck Series. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be sponsoring them throughout their entire season and possibly next season. That's really exciting for us. Go ahead.
I'll give an update too on the website. I can definitely say we're in our final days of development, and we're actually not really developing the website anymore. We are pretty much just bug testing and making sure everything's running smoothly. So
I completely forgot to
we're in the final couple days, and I can definitely say with broad scope that by next weekend it will definitely be live.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Absolutely. I've already expressed my readiness, and it's really hard. See, at this point, word of mouth is starting to spread a little bit more and faster than we thought. And plus, and that's without us advertising at all. And we really can't step our game up until this is ready to go. So we're all prepared to get this website up and running for everybody, and we're really excited for what the future holds for MCC. And again, Mason, Chris, Christian, I appreciate all you guys showing up. Again,
for sure, man.
For us here at Northstar PC,
thank you.
We appreciate everything and all the support everybody's given us up until this far. We really look forward to helping you with any of your personal device needs or personal build needs. We thank everybody that watched or anybody that considered even letting us help you out. All right. Like and subscribe.
Keep your eyes out. We got
keep your eyes out.
Yep. Customers in the queue.
We are
hit
on
the thumbs
fire
up
right
button.
now. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and probably just sit here idly for a couple of seconds. That way, I don't cut me off again, like I have been doing.
Why don't we just do this? We just say goodbye and we go to our ending soon screen.
Oh, see, he built an ending soon screen. All right, guys, we're out.
Appreciate it.
Later.